Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaraachaarya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. त्रैलोक्यनाथ हरिमीड्यमुदार सत्वं शक्तेस्तनूज तनयं परमेष्ठिकल्पं जीमूत मुक्त विमलांबर चारुवर्णं वासिष्ठमुग्र तपसं प्रणतोस्मि नित्यम्. So we were looking at the questions which the student is raising after the Guru has taught him how this Tattvamasi and other such vakyas in the Veda are revealing that this individual self or the Jivatma is identical to the Paramatma, correct? Which is also again referred to with words like Sat, Brahma. So all these different words are used. So that was mentioned in this verse 46. So nacha Tattvamasi iti asakrit vachanam jagataha janimatra vidhau gatate. Okay, basically I think that was said before itself, not in 46, sorry. Okay. Okay. Okay, here, sorry. 47. Stira jangama deha dhyam charitam paripashyati yaha avikritaha purushaha paramatma saduktihi asau. So the Purusha, the individual self, who is the witness, who is the invariable witness of all that is happening in one's mind and body. Okay. In fact, that witness is not only witnessing everything in one particular body, it is the witness in all the bodies also. There is only one witnessing consciousness. That's what Bhagavan also in the Krishna, in the 13th chapter, he says, Kshetrajnam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In all the kshetras, kshetra here means the body, mind, sense complex and any other object also. The one who knows that, to whom it becomes evident that consciousness is not just limited to one body, mind, sense complex. In fact, taking it as an embodied consciousness itself is avidya. That is the ignorance, and in fact, that is the cause of samsara also. But that consciousness is only one, and it is not, in fact, it is the same Paramatma alone. Okay, that consciousness alone is referred to as Paramatma or Sadvastu, all these things. So whichever I said, that has been now established like that. The teaching is concluded by the Guru in this 47th verse. This we saw. Then the student comes back. Okay. And so one of the doubts which can be raised is what? No, how can Paramatma and Jivatma be one? Okay. So it is not like what you are saying. You are saying that it is like part space and space. But it is not like that. It is like fish and water. Water is all pervading. Fish is in water, but still fish is separate from water. So this is how we have to understand the Paramatma, Jivatma, how they are related. So if the student says like this, or assuming the student has said like this in this first line, where he is saying that from this akshara, again akshara is another word used for referring to the same Paramatma or Sadvastu. So this, the one who is identified with the body mind sense complex and one who knows whatever is happening in the mind, that Jivatma is separate from the Paramatma, like even the fish is separate from the water, even though fish is in water. Okay. If it is said like that, then the teacher again asks, if you say like that, then how do you account for the Tattvamasi? Because Tattvamasi, then it will go against Tattvamasi. So how do you say that Vedas is revealing Tattvamasi and it will go against the Tattvamasi teaching? In fact, in this context, I had told that some of the Dvaitins actually interpret it as Atattvamasi. And they are all using their extraordinary intelligence in grammar and other disciplines of knowledge. So Atma Tattvamasi, that's how it is there in the Upanishad. So it can be separated, the Sandhi can be separated as Atma Atattvamasi. But actually Atattvamasi need not be taught by the Veda, correct? Why should, if you go to the road and ask any passerby, are you Brahman? They are going to say no, correct? Are you the cause of this entire Srishti? Means he will say no. So why should one learn that with all this difficulty? You don't even have to attend this class. You don't have to attend any class. Anyway, it is avichara siddha, correct? Dvaita is already accepted by all without doing any analysis. After doing all analysis, if you arrive at the same Dvaita, there is no use of that. So anyway, Atattvamasi doesn't make any sense, but the Dvaitins do interpret it that way. But even then, I don't know what they do with other Vakyas. Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. So many Mahavakyas are there, correct? All over the Upanishads. So I don't know. In all those places, you cannot use the same grammatical trick, correct? So, in fact, I have not read all the other commentaries of Ramanuja or Madhva or other Dvaitins. But I have heard that at least this Atattvamasi part I have heard. And even I think the Vishishtadvaitins also, this Tattvamasi they interpret interestingly. They take Tattvam as a Samasa Pada. Okay. We say that Tat, Tvam, Asi, correct? Tat is a word, Tvam is a word, Asi is a separate word, which is indicating the identity between Tat and Tvam. But the I think Ramanuja is interpreted as Tattvam is one word. Okay. Tattvam is a single word, it is a Samasa Pada. And then it is Tasya Tvamasi. So it is not you are that, you are of that. Okay, so if you make Tattvam as a Samasa, then you can give a Vigraha that it is Shashti Tatpurusha. So Shashti Tatpurusha means it will become you are of that. But again, I don't know in other places what they will do. Tattvamasi can be Tattvam can be looked upon as a Samasa maybe, purely from a grammatical standpoint. Even that doesn't make any sense, because how the whole Prakarana starts, correct? The 6th chapter starts with a certain pratigna, that it says that by knowing which you know everything, like that it starts, correct? And it is giving the analogy of this clay pot, gold and jewelry, and iron and nail cutter, in fact. So in those days only they had a nail cutter made up of iron. So like this, and it is talking about the names and forms being non-separate from the material cause. The cause alone is really there. In fact, the effect is nothing but mithya, it doesn't really exist apart from the cause. It doesn't have an existence of its own, in fact. So that's how the teaching starts. And then it is showing this sadvastu as the cause of everything. And then pointing out that you are that sadvastu, correct? That is how you know, since you are the one who is giving existence to everything. By knowing this fact, everything is as well known. That is how the teaching is. If you look at the entire prakarana, you cannot interpret it any other way, actually speaking. But even then, there are very intelligent people who try to, it is like debating in a college, correct? If you are given a topic, you try to anyway prove that it is true. So they have already concluded something. Once your conclusion is there, then you try to twist with all your intelligence. All the Shruti Vakyas also you try to twist as much as possible to force fit into whatever you have already concluded. Anyway, so the Guru is now asking, if you say that the Jivatma, Paramatma are different from each other, how do you account for Tattvamasi? Because your statement is going against the teaching of Tattvamasi. Okay. Then the Sishya comes back, let us say, or the Purva Pakshi, whoever it is. I think we came up to this 49 last time. So he is saying it is Tattvamasi is not teaching you the identity of the Jivatma and Paramatma. Okay. So it's not removing the ignorance with reference to the identity of the Jivatma and Paramatma. Instead, he says Sad Upasana Karma Vidhana Param. In fact, I think most Dvaitins or all Dvaitins also, in other places when there are Mahavakyas, they are interpreting it as Upasana Param only. So they say that, like if you say Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, all these things they are going to say that you have to do Upasana like that. This Atma is Brahman. Okay. So the student is saying it is Upasana Karma Vidhana Param, means what? Those Vakyas are actually enjoining you to do Upasana, that Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, like that. If you take it as Upasana Vidhi, then there is no Virodha. Tatayeva Matam na Virodsyati me. So whatever I am giving this interpretation, that Tattvamasyadi Vakyaha, they are all only Upasana Vidhana Param. Okay, they are all only enjoining Upasana. Then there is no contradiction. Okay. And in fact, now he is giving the next verse. The student is now giving different examples from the Upanishad itself. Because Upanishads and Vedas do talk about a lot of Upasanas. And the Upasana themselves are given so that one can prepare oneself to receive this knowledge, correct? Because we say that one has to be qualified to receive this knowledge, and the qualification itself is in the way you have prepared yourself. You means here your body, mind, sense complex itself should be taken, and in this case the Upasana is to make your mind focused. Okay, because you are visualizing something and you are focusing on one thing. So Chitta Naischalyam we say. So Upasana will help you to attain Chitta Naischalyam. Karma Yoga is for Chitta Shuddhi, like that it is said. So we do not say that Upasanas are not being prescribed by the Upanishads. They are. And they have a purpose also. That's not the problem for us. But anyway, this Tattvamasi is not Upasana Param is our argument. But the student is coming now and saying what? No, Tattvamasi also is only Upasana. And he is giving example. Other Upasana Paravakyas. If you take Chandogya Upanishad 3rd chapter, Upasanas are given. Even in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also, in the 2nd chapter, first Brahmana, there are Upasanas are given. So here, Mana Adishu, okay, we'll chant it first. Mana adishu karana drishti vidhihi pratimasu cha deva dhiya karanam swamatim tvanapohya yathahi tata tvamasiti sadatma matir vachanat. Okay. So mana adishu karana drishti vidhihi. So first example he gives is what? Mano Brahmet Upasita, like that it is there. Chandogya Upanishad, I think 18th, 318, third chapter, 18th Brahmana section. So Mano Brahmeti Upasita, like that Upanishad is saying, do Upasana that this mind is Brahman. And why is it saying that? Or on what basis? Karana Drishti Vidhi it is called, because Brahman is the Karana of everything. Brahman being the Karana of everything, you can visualize all the effects as Brahman. And there is a phala for that also. Typically, any upasana also has a certain result, correct? Which is coveted by some people. Okay. Not only mana adi is given here, correct? So one vakya is mano brahmeti upasita. But in the same chapter, there are many vakyas like that. Adityo brahmeti adeshaha, annam brahmeti upaste, akasham brahmeti upaste, like that. So Aditya also you do upasana as Brahman. Annam, food you do upasana as Brahman. Akasha you do upasana as Brahman. So like this there are many Shrutis are there. That's why mana adishu, adi padat, you have to include other upasana vakyas where many different things you are supposed to visualize as Brahman and do upasana. That is called Karana Drishti Vidhi, because Brahman is the Karana of all these things. Or the other example he gives is what? Pratima Sucha Devadhiyam Karanam. Now, we all know about our temples, and in the temple we have the Vigrahas, correct? Devata Vigraha are there. And we all know it is stone. It's not that we do not know that it is not a stone. But the thing is, once we do Prana Pratishtha, and there is something called Netron Milanam during the Kumbhabhishekam or during the consecration of the temple, the Stapati, the one who has sculpted the Pratima, the Murti, has to come and do something called Netron Milanam. Means finally they'll open the eyes of the Pratima or the Devata. Devata's prana is actually established, you can say, in that Vigraha, and then the eyes are opened. Once the eyes are opened, there are even what it has to see. First, it has to see only a cow, and then like this, there are certain rituals also we do. What the Devata has to see auspicious things first. Like this, it's an interesting thing to do actually in the function. So once the Devata is, the Pratishtha is done, then we look upon it as Devata only, correct? And we can do all the prayers, worship, even though we know that it is still stone. Understand that. It's not that we do not know that the stone, it is not stone. Even though we know that it is stone, still we look upon that as the Devata, because again Devata is all pervasive and all that. Whichever is our Devata, we look upon that Devata as Jagat Karanam only. That is the beauty of our vision. And we can invoke that Devata in a stone. We have no problem, because if Bhagavan is there everywhere, Bhagavan can be invoked in any name, any form. We have no problem with that. So in the Pratima also you have a Devadhi, means what? You think that it is the Devata. The Vigraha or the Murti is the Devata. Like that you do, correct? You have a Bhavana and you do the puja there. So in these cases, what? Swamatim tu anapohya yathahi. So Swamatthim means what? That your idea that mind is mind, stone is stone, that does not get, or that is not removed, correct? That does not go away. You know, mind is mind, stone is stone. Still, you look upon the mind as Brahman, stone as the Devata. Correct? Swamatim anapohya means what? Without giving up the idea that the mind is mind or stone is stone, you still look upon that as something else. Similarly, tatha tvamasi iti sadatma matihi vachana. So, tvam sadatma. So Tattvamasi basically. So Tattvamasi also you have to look upon like that. Means what? Yourself you look upon as this Sadvastu without giving up the idea that this Tvam is separate from the Sadvastu, correct? Tvam is anyway separate from the Sadvastu only. It is a miserable, limited individual self. But you look upon that as Sad Brahma, Sadvastu. So that Mati also you can have, that this individual self is the Sadvastu. Like that you can have a thought, and that is what is revealed by that Vachana, Shruti Vachana, Tattvamasi. So what is your problem? There is no Virodha. Or, okay, in fact, here our Totakaacharya is presenting all other ways in which you can interpret the Tattvamasi also. But the most popular, I think, is this Upasana, that it is an Upasana. But otherwise what? Athava. Okay, this we'll see. Athava tvamiti dhvani vachyamidam sadasiti vaded vachanam gunataha vibhayam purusham pravadanti yatha mrigaradayam ishvara gupta iti. Okay, otherwise what? Tvamiti dhvani vachyamidam. Dhvani vachyam means, dhvani means you can say poetical allusion, figurative speech. So otherwise this Tattvamasi can be taken as a figurative speech. It's not real. Okay. Like he is giving an example. So when the Upanishad says Sadasi, okay, that Vachana you have to take it as Gunataha. Means Gunataha means what? There is some similarity. Based on that we can say figuratively that you are that. Like even what is the example? Vibhayam Purusham Pravadanti, the person who is fearless. Okay, there is a fearless person. That person is what called Yatha, as even a fearless person is called as what? Mrigaradayam. He is the king of all the animals. Lion, correct? Mrigarad here is lion because lion is called as the king of animals. And it is known for its fearlessness because a lion can even hunt an elephant or even much bigger animals, correct? Buffaloes, like that. So I am Ishvara Guptaha. Okay, normally we use in examples Devadatta, Yajnadatta, like that. But for this particular meter, to fill it properly, our Acharya has used the name Ishvara Guptaha. Ishvara Gupta is somebody. So people may say, I am Ishvara Guptaha Mrigarad. This Ishvara Gupta is the king of all animals, lion. Why? Because he is a fearless. So the fearlessness is the guna, samya, similarity between a lion and this person. Therefore, this person can be called as lion. So this way, Tattvamasi also is only a figurative speech. You can take it as a figurative speech. You don't take it literally. Okay, that is another way of looking at the Mahavakya. Or another way is what? Yadi vastutaye sadasiti vadet maghavanasi vishnurasiti yatha tvamiti shruti vachya satatva katam athava satayeva vaded vachanam. Okay, otherwise what? Another way of looking at it is what? It is a stuti, to praise Brahman or praise you only. To praise you, it is said. It is only a praise. Don't take it literally. Okay. And how do we understand, or what kind of a praise it is? For example, somebody is giving dhanam. Okay, people are in some distress. There is a famine. Then some big landlord is distributing food. Then what will the people say? Then you are like Indra, you are Vishnu for me. Why? Because you are the one who is saving me now from this distress, from this problem, whatever is there. So the one who is donating something, they will be praised as Indra, Chandra by the ones who receive whatever they are receiving. So that is not literal again, correct? They are simply praising that you are Vishnu. You are Madhavan, means basically Indra. Indra is called Madhavan, another name for Indra. So you are Indra, you are Vishnu, like that people may praise. Similarly, Tvamiti Shruti Vachya Satatva Katam. So the Tvamiti Shruti Vachya Satatva means what? Tvamiti, Tvam is Satvastu, like that whatever the Shruti Vakya is said. There you can say that the Tvam has been referred to as the Sadvastu, but still it is only a praise. It is not to be taken literally. Satayeva vadet vachanam. Yeah, it is said. Tvam is Sadvastu only, but that vachana has to be taken as stuti. Like even people say that you are Vishnu, you are Indra, like that to the person who is donating something to people who are in need, let us say. So this is another way. So either you have to take it as figurative speech, or you have to take it as a praise. Okay. Further what? Okay. Yedi tattvamiti dhvanina abhihitaha paramatma satatvaka eva sada kimiti swakameva na rupamavet pratibodhyata eva yato vachanaihi. Okay. So now further the student is saying, this Tatvamasi, whatever is said, correct? You say that this Tatvamasi should be taken as a Vakya which is revealing the identity between the Jiva and Paramatma. But if you take like that, Yadi, if let us say whatever you say is what is being revealed by the Shruti, then why should the Shruti even say that? That's the question. Why should it be revealed by the Shruti? Because if you are really Brahman, you should know it already. This is the other argument. Okay. If you are really Brahman, why do you not know that? So you should have known it. It is your own Swarupa. If Brahman is your very nature, why are you not knowing it? See, Swakameva na Rupam Avet. Na Avet, correct? Swakam Rupam means what? Swarupam, one's own nature. Kim na Avet. Why do you not know that? If you are already Brahman, it should have been known to you. Why should even the Shruti come and teach? That's what he is asking. Pratibodhyate eva yataha vachanaihi. But it is being taught by Shruti, you are saying. Isn't it meaningless? If it is your very Swarupa, you should have already known it. And Shruti need not teach that. But you are saying Shruti is teaching that. Shruti is revealing that. Why should the Shruti reveal that which is your own very nature? This is another objection or another point of view. Okay, so all these are objections. Okay, so what are all the things? Let us summarize that. One is it is upasana. Another is it is figurative speech. Another is it is a praise. And finally, he is saying that if you are really Brahman, you should have already known it, and Shruti need not reveal it to you. Okay. So these are all the points being raised by the student, you can say, to the Guru in the form of doubts. Okay, the student himself may have heard it by reading other books, because everybody comes to a Vedanta class. Nobody comes with a blank slate, I think. Very few of us go to our Guru with a blank slate. In fact, the most difficult part is to actually rewrite whatever is already gone into you. People come with all sorts of notions, and you filter also. Whatever you hear in the class, you filter it with whatever notions you already have picked up. So these are all the difficulties in the Vedanta, in your pursuit of Vedanta itself. So the student has picked it up, student has read other books, and so you can say student is asking based on all that. So finally what he is saying, Atayeva hi jiva sadatmakatam nahi tattvamasiti vaded vachanam yadapi drisham anyadato vachanam tadapi prathayed anayaiva disha. Okay, so finally now student is summarizing. He says what therefore indeed what this jiva sadatmakatam nahi tattvamasiti vadet vachanam. So the Tattvamasi Vakya is not revealing the identity between Jiva and Paramatma. We can conclude. Okay. And even if you say that, what about other Mahavakyas which are there in the other Upanishads, other than Tattvamasi, there are so many other Mahavakyas are there. All of them you have to consider in the same way. Okay. Yadapi idrisham anyad. So other similar Vakyas are there in other places, in other Upanishads. Tadapi, that also, what that Tadapi Vachanam, that those sentences also, Anayaiva Disha Prathayet, in this manner alone you have to understand that either it is a Upasana or figurative speech or praise. It is not talking about the identity. Like this, the student has now clarified his position, you can say, or his doubt. Now what Guru has to answer. In fact, from this 55 to I think 107 or some 107 I think verse, now Totakaacharya will establish how Tattvamasi is really revealing the identity of Jivatma and Paramatma. For that, first he has to negate that this Upasana Vidhana Param, like that only the first argument. In fact, that is the most pervasively used interpretation also by different Dvaitins. So he is taking that on first. But even before he gives any argument, he again reiterates that Tattvamasi really only reveals the identity between the Jivatma and Paramatma or the Sadvastu. So he says, Tvadudahrita Vakya Vilakshanata Vachanasya Hitattvamasiti Yataha Atayeva na Drishti Vidhana Param Satayeva Sadatmakata Gamakam. So he says, Tvat Udahrita Vakya Vilakshanata. Whatever examples you gave, correct? Mano Brahmeti Upasita, correct? So look upon the mind as Brahman, Aditya as Brahman, Akasha as Brahman, Annam as Brahman. All these things are there in the Upanishad, in Chandogya Upanishad, I told you in the 3rd chapter. All these examples you gave, they are all different from the Tattvamasi. Okay, they are not similar to Tattvamasi Vakya. So Tattvamasi Vasana is Vilakshana, means what? It is not. Salakshana means it is similar. Vilakshana means it is different. Its characteristics are different. Because its characteristics are different. Yataha, ataha, therefore what? Ataha eva na drishti vidhana param. It is not enjoining you to do any visualization or upasana. Drishti vidhana means basically it is again upasana vidhi. It's not enjoining you to do some visualization and upasana, and it is only teaching you Satayeva Sadatmakata Gamakam. Okay. So this Sat alone is the Atma. That is what it is teaching. The identity of the individual self and the totality, you can say. So now again he has reiterated it by pointing out that the examples you have given are different. They do not actually or they are not similar to what Tattvamasi is. In fact, this is the problem. Many times, even if you are arguing with somebody, they will give some analogy. In their mind, they think that the analogy is similar to whatever they are trying to establish. Many times it is not. So that has to be pointed out. So now what our Totakaacharya is pointing out, let us see. What is the vilakshanata? He has to tell now, correct? He has now, initially he has said it is different, it is not similar, therefore your conclusions are wrong. Okay. Now he has to point out exactly what is different in Tattvamasi and Mano Brahmeti Upasita, let us say. So he says the difference is what? Let us see that. Iti Shabda Shiraska Padokta Matihi Vihita Mana Adishu Tair Vachanaihi Navidhanam Ihasti Tatha Vachane Suvilakshanameta Vachanat. So iti Shabda Shiraska Padokta Matihi, he says. So the vakyas which are ending with iti, or the word which is preceded by the iti, okay, because Mano Brahma iti Upasita is there, correct? The iti, thus word is there. Iti is a particle. And then there is a vidhi, Upasita also is there. Upasita is the one which is enjoining you to do the upasana. May you do this upasana, thus, looking upon Brahman as mind. Thus you do, or mind is Brahman. Thus you do the visualization or upasana. Like this iti shabda is there. So the iti shabda only is telling you, first there is a word, correct? Mana, Akasha, Aditya, like that. Then Brahma iti is there. Means Mana Adishu, that's what? Mind, Aditya, Akasha, Annam, etc. Iti Shabda Shiraska Padokta Matihi Vihita means what? You have to have this mati or the idea or visualization that they have to be looked upon as the meaning of the word which precedes the iti. Okay. So in this case it is Brahma iti. Mano Brahmeti Upasita means mind has to be looked upon as Brahman, which is preceding the iti, the particle iti. So that's how you have to understand, and iti is there. But in Tattvamasi there is no iti or there is no Upasita also. It simply says Tattvamasi, correct? Then how can you say it is similar? So na vidhanam iha asti, he says. That vidhana is not there. Iti upasita word is not there. So na vidhanam iha asti. In this case, in the case of Tattvamasi, there is no iti, there is no upasita. So na vidhanam iha asti tatha. So in that manner, there is nothing here. There is no iti, there is no upasita. Therefore, what? Suvilakshanam etad ataha vachanat. So tatha vachane. So in this vakya, it is not there. Therefore, it is suvilakshanam means what? It is very different. There is no similarity between what you have given as an example or analogy and what we are discussing. It is very different from the examples which you have given. Therefore, your conclusion is not right. Is that clear? So he is pointing out. In fact, that same thing I think he is going to explain further. Manaso viyatas savitru prabhritehe pravadanti natani sadatmakatam manadihi mukhyamupāsyataya pravadanti yatokshara drishtiyutam. Okay, so now here it is said that Manas and Viyat is Akasha, Savitra is Aditya, etc. Annam also you have to consider. that we are not saying they are all Brahman. Of course, even here, in fact, the student will ask another question which is very interesting. We'll see that it will come later. But what the Guru is saying is, in the case of Mano Brahmeti Upasita, we are not saying mind is Brahman, Aditya is Brahman, etc. The mind, Aditya, all these words do not give up their Mukhya meaning, correct? Their direct meaning, the Vachyartha, they do not give up that. They retain their Vachyartha, and still we understand that the mind has to be looked upon as Brahman. We have no problem with that interpretation in this case. So that's how it has been revealed by the Shruti also, for you to do the Upasana, because it itself is saying Iti Upasita, correct? In this manner you do the Upasana. So, Na Sadatmakatam Tani Pravadanti. So in the case of these Vakyas, mind, Akasha, Aditya, etc. should not be taken as same as this Sadvastu. Because why? Because Manahadihi Mukhyam Upasyataya Pravadanti, because mind, etc. has to be looked upon as the Upasya. Upasyam here is the object on which you do the visualization, and they have been told as that object on which you superimpose something else, correct? Deliberately. This is the Shastrokta Adhyaropa, we say. The Shastra is asking you to superimpose something on a particular object and visualize and do Upasana. That means that that particular object has not given up its meaning, but on that object you are still deliberately superimposing or visualizing something else. See, many times there is a similarity also. In such cases we call it a Sampat Upasana. Okay. So it has been said as the Upasya, and therefore the Akshara Drishti Yutam, that's why it is called Akshara Drishti. Means what? This Akshara has to be visualized on this particular Upasya, and then you do the Upasana. This is different from Tattvamasi, because Tattvamasi is just revealing the identity. It's not saying you have to do any visualization, or there is no vidhana of any upasana there. Iti upasita is not there in Tattvamasi or any Mahavakya you take. Ayam Atma Brahma. So this is important. In fact, one more point I missed telling you. In this 52, I should have told. Just now I remembered that, because there are three things only I told you. That Upasana, figurative speech, praise. The fourth he is saying, this particular thing I simply missed, I think. Tvamiti Shruti Vachya Satatva Katam Athava Satayeva Vadet Vachanam. This means he is saying it is the other way around. You say Jiva is Brahman, correct? But Tattvamasi can also mean Brahman has become Jiva. No. Brahman has really become this samsari Jiva. You have to take it like that, he is saying. That is also a possibility, correct? This particular Vakya I missed before explaining to you, although I read it, I think, but somehow I skipped and went to the next one. So this also you have to take. There are four things said by the student, in which the one more thing is that Brahman itself has become this Jiva, has become the samsari. That is also another interpretation of Tattvamasi. Anyway, we'll come to that. Okay, so I just wanted to point you that I suddenly remembered that when I was reading this. Okay. Anyway, so here we do accept that in the case of Mano Brahmeti Upasita, etc., this mind and Brahman are not identical, and in fact you have to look upon one as the other. By doing deliberate superimposition, you visualize, and that is the Upasana. Okay. So the Akshara Drishti is fine. You look upon the mind as Brahman. This as, iti can be taken also as or thus. That's why that iti is very important. Okay, now further what? Karako na mrida prithagasti yatha mana adi satosti tatha na prithak iti vastu satatva kata tu yatha vidhi shabda itischa tatha tu vritha. So this is the one I said, interesting. Now the student comes back and says, if you say Tatvamasi is talking about identity, why cannot we look upon Mano Brahmeti Upasita also as teaching identity? Because anyway, Sadvastu is the Karana for everything. So we can really say that mind is Brahman, correct? Like saying, he is now giving our example. He says, Karakaha na mridaha pritagasti. Karaka means it is a plate or something, okay, made up of mud. It is a product of mud. Now this karaka, or is like, it is like saying pot is clay. Because everything is having this sadvastu as the cause. Therefore, we can definitely say that mind is Brahman, Aditya is Brahman. Okay. So they are all not separate from Brahman. In fact, that is the Siddhanta also. So now why can't we say the other way around? Why you are accepting that Mano Brahmeti Upasita is Upasana, but Tatvamasi is not Upasana, it's a revealing sentence. Why are you making this differentiation? Like this, the student is asking the other way around now. Is that clear? So Manahadi Sataha Asti Tathana Pritak. So like even the pot is nothing but clay, all these mind etc. are also nothing but this Sadvastu only. Like that, why cannot we take it as Vastu Satatva Kata tu Yatha Vidhi Shabda Itischa Tatha tu Vritha. Therefore, it is a Vidhi. You cannot say now. He is saying now he is not accepting that it is a Upasana Vidhi. Instead, the student is saying, why cannot we take all these other Upasana Vidhi Paravakya also as only revealing the Tattva that mind etc. are nothing but Brahman. So this is the other way around. Of course, students are all very imaginative and all that. So they can ask these questions, no problem. So now what does our Acharya? Acharya is very patient. So Acharya now explains why the Mano Brahmeti Upasita and similar Vakyas are only Upasana Vidhi Param and they are not revealing Vakyas. Why? The same thing he is saying. He says, let us see that. Mana Adi Samana Vibhaktitaya Vidhi Shabdam iti cha vihaya yadi Janakena Sata Sahayoga Miyad Andritam Taditi Sphutam Uktama Bhut. So Acharya says, yes, if mind and other whatever upasya vastu, correct, like Aditya, etc., Manadi, Samana Vibhakti Taya means what? With the same Vibhakti, both are in Pratama, correct? Tatvamasi also, Tat is Pratama Ekavachanam, Tvam also is Pratama Ekavachanam. In fact, Tvam is also same, and then they are Eka Vibhakti is there. They are appositional, we have to say. In English grammar, there is something called apposition, not opposition. It is APPO, okay, apposition. So appositional usage means what? Like rose is red. If you say rose and red are pointing to the same adhikarana and they have the same case ending also. They are pointing to the same locus. So generally, this appositional usage is for revealing two things in the same locus. One is typically taken as a noun, another is taken as an adjective, correct? When you say rose is red, we take rose as the noun or the substance. Redness is a quality of this rose and it's an adjective, you can say. Red rose also you can say, correct? Instead of saying rose is red, you can simply say red rose means what? Again, red is adjective, rose is noun. they are having samana vibhakti here. They point to the same locus. They are in the same locus. Like this kind of a usage is very common. One is Visheshana, another is Visheshya. So rose is Visheshya, or the one which is qualified, and red is the qualifier. But when you say pot is clay, or we even use clay pot, correct? The interesting thing is we use clay pot in English also, in other languages also. Now clay becomes adjective, pot becomes the noun, correct? It is crazy how there is no real pot. In fact, pot is only name and form. We have made pot as a noun. Clay is the real substance. What exists there is clay, correct? That has become adjective. Again, this is the fallacy of language. Language is creating confusion for you. In fact, you have to say potty clay, correct? It is not clay pot. It is potty clay. Or you cannot say wooden table, let us say, correct? We say wooden table. Table is wood. Wooden table we say. But it is actually tably wood, because wood alone is the substance. Or we say gold jewelry. But gold is not really adjective there. Gold is the substance. In fact, gold is the substance. You will know when, if you go to a pawnbroker, you are in some difficulty, you want to raise some money, what you do? You take your gold jewelry, you go to the pawnbroker or the bank which is lending you gold loan. They don't care about your name and form, correct? They only care about the weight of the gold. So with reference to the gold, the banker is a jnani. Banker is a jnani because banker only sees the gold there, how much weight. It is the weight of the gold alone which counts for your loan. It doesn't matter whether it is a chain or a necklace or a earring or a bangle, correct? They put everything together and simply weigh it. So anyway, coming back here, so what is said by our Acharya is that if you have two words in the same vibhakti, and also if you do not have any vidhi there, correct? Vidhi shabdam itim, so vihaya, he says. Vidhi shabda is one, vidhi shabdam means here upasita is the vidhi shabda, correct? It says it enjoins you to do the upasana. Iti shabda also is there, correct? Iti upasita is there. So here this you have to say vidhi shabdam itim. Itim is that iti word has been put into second case. The word iti itself, that particle is looked upon as a word, and vidhi shabdam itim cha, these two things, vidhi shabda and the iti, if you do not take into consideration, if they are not there, vihaya yadi, then janakena sata sahayogam yad anritam taditi sputam uktam abhut. So if the iti and the vidhi shabdas are not there, iti and upasita, these two words are given up or it is not there, then janakena sata, with reference to the cause, which is sadvastu, if you say that pot is clay, means that is correct. In fact, the pot becomes anrita, then it becomes false. This is what we call badhayam samanadhikaranyam. See, normally samanadhikaranyam means what? Two, like I already told you, two words pointing to the same locus, correct? Rose is red, means rose also is in the same substantive, red also is in the same substantive, in the same place. That is called samana adhikarana. The adhikarana or the locus is samana, it is the same. Now, normally the usage is one is adjective, one is noun. This also I explained to you. But in special cases, it is very interesting, correct? If I say snake is rope, you saw a snake and you are afraid. Then I say, hey, don't worry, snake is rope. Now there, snake is not an adjective of rope, correct? When I say snake is rope, what do I actually mean? I negate the very snakeness itself, correct? The snakeness is negated, it becomes anrita, because what is there really is only rope. It is not like rose is red. Rose is red is a different usage. Although, if you see grammatically, syntactically, it is the same. Rose is red, snake is rope. But snake is rope conveys a totally different meaning where snake itself is negated as false. Correct? That is called badhayam samanadhikaranyam. Understand that. Here, the apposition results in one getting negated. Other alone is there as the truth. Similarly, when you say mind is Brahman, Aditya is Brahman, etc., mind, Aditya and all will become Andrita. That is fine. Andritam taditi sputam uktam abhut. Then it will be that mind, Aditya, any name and form is only Andrita. It is false. It doesn't have the same order of reality as the substance of which it is made up of, which is the cause. The effect is not of the same order of reality as the cause. Cause alone is Satyam. Effect is Mithya or Andritam. So this will be revealed by the Shruti, which is fine. I also accept that. But then the Acharya will point out that Vidhi and Iti Shabda are there, correct? You cannot give them up. In the case of Upasana Vidhi, the Iti Shabda and the Upasita, that Vidhi, that verb, both are there. Therefore, you have to take it as only Upasana Paravakya and not the, it is not a revealing sentence. So that he says in the next Vakya. Quickly we'll see that. Nanu jiva satora pitatvamiti sputameka vibhaktya vidhanamidam kathamasya sharira bhruto anritata na bhaved avibhakta vibhakti yujaha. Anyway, so now the interesting thing is what? In fact, the student is now raising an interesting question. He says, okay, you say that if there is apposition between two words and there are no vidhi and there is no iti shabda, etc., then one becomes andrita, one becomes false, other alone is the truth, correct? Like badhayam samanadhikaranyam. Then even this Tattvamasi, in Tattvamasi, Tvam should become false, he says. So Tattvamasi also we should take it as snake is rope. So if that is the case, then how can you say that this Sharira Brit, this Jiva is not false? Like this, a question is raised. The Guru will answer this. We'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.